I remember just hanging out in our dad's studio. He was always painting and doing photography tricks and stuff and just trying to experiment. So we always had materials to mess around with as kids. I guess we were always making stuff. Actually, we made stuff forever. I think he made a joke about making a pussy slipper. So I made one for Christmas.
For Christmas, he gave me my idea of the pussy slipper made out of silk and velvet. It was like all really nicely handmade. And
it had like a cubic zirconia initial
clit
ring on it. I think we're totally obsessed with discovering new ways to use materials. The pieces we're showing in Miami this year are primarily lighting pieces. Pretty much everything was hex tiled. We've started making the forms underneath the hex tiles lumpier and a little more complicated, just several more instances of extreme curves or very tight rounded corners. We just realized that actually the spots that are the hardest to tile tend to be the most interesting looking and the most beautiful, so we don't have any trepidation when it comes to, working forever on something.
It's really exciting too for us, I think, to find a material application where it sort of has a mind of its own. Like the accretions are a really good example of that they will sort of create themselves just through the process. And the fact that there's this sort of like teamwork between human interaction and manipulation and sort of just natural physics and process is super, super exciting.
Trying to discover the very basic reason for something to have its shape is really what I'm after. Every single piece is its complete own thing. We'll even make the same stool, for example, over and over, but we don't have any jigs. We just do, what we remember the stool looking like or what it should look like now, because it's kind of changed a little bit.
Each little piece is sort of like its own animal, and that there are rules that bind it, but the way it ends up in the end has a lot to do sort of with each piece's personality. We've created sort of a little bit of like a weird alien ecosystem, and each piece that we produce can develop from that, and it leaves room for evolution as well. If you're making something and you're somebody that builds things or creates something, and you're an artist, whatever it is that you make doesn't have to relate to anything. It just has to be something that you thought was cool and that you made come to fruition. Everything we do is fun. We go to work every day and have tons of fun just fucking around. It's really nice to have the opportunity to work with my twin. I mean, you can't be any closer than a twin, you know what I mean? We get each other.
We really work off of each other a whole lot. We're just like fucking around like kids kind of, which I think is really great.
And I think that the way that we design could really be easily related to sort of like a shut off and closed ecosystem. It's like an island. Everybody that comes that works for us, we use a certain language. We've developed our own way of sort of making things, and everybody inside of it sort of just speaks in that language in terms of design. Or in terms of expressing art or whatever it is that we do.